Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Crochet and Honey YouTube channel. Today, I will be teaching you how to crochet this pizza costume for Halloween for your labubu. It's quite simple and that's it. You can wear it on its own or with his overalls and crown. Let's begin. So let's start crocheting our crust using our brown yarn and leaving a tail of about 5 inches to sew a bit of the lower part. Let's do a slip knot. And for the first row, it's simply chain 1. That's our first row. For the second row, we do 1 chain and 2 single crochets on the first chain. 1 and 2. And then we chain 1 and turn. And for row 3, do an increase or 2 single crochets on the first stitch. Pull through 1 and pull through 2. And another single crochet in the same stitch. That's an increase. And then 1 single crochet on the second one. And then chain 1 and turn. Then we do an increase here again for row 3. 1, 2 single crochets, and then a single, oh, this is already row 4, and then 2 single crochets. 1 row, this is row 4. For row 5, we chain first and turn. For row 5, we do an increase here and an increase in the end. Okay, so increase 2 single crochets on the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet on the one and on the next one single crochet, and on the last 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches on single crochet. Then we chain 1 and turn. So for row 6, we will do again increase in the beginning and increase in the end. So for row 6, 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and then 4 single crochets. 1, 1, and the third and 4th. And then we do an increase in the last stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, and then we chain 1 and turn. So now we're in row 7. We do an increase again on the first and the last one. 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 6 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the last stitch, we do an increase. 1 and 2. Okay, for row 8, let's just chain 1 first and turn. For row 8, we do an additional chain because we will do a half double crochet on the first stitch. So half double crochet is yarn over and pull through one loop. Now you have 3, and then pull through 3 loops. That's a half double crochet. And then we do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then on the last part, we will do another half double crochet. And over, and then pull through all 3 loops. So that's our triangle so far. Okay, for the cheese, we will do up to this part, so it's the same. This here. So do that same thing for the cheese, and for the cheese you cut off, and fasten off. So now we're at row 9. For row 9, we will do all single crochets again. Okay, chain 1 and turn. We do an increase. Increase here. Single crochet 1 and 2. And then 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we do an increase here. Increase single crochet 1 and 2. So for row 10, chain 1 first and turn. Row 10, we do the same thing. Increase here and increase here, and 10 single crochets in the middle. So increase 1, 2, and 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then increase on the last stitch. 1 and 2. So now we will do the armhole. Okay, chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Then we do slip stitch 12, going back down the chain. So slip stitch 12, 1, starting from the second chain from the hook. Okay, slip stitch 1, 2, make your slip stitch loose so it's easier. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so we can just sew this later. So for the next row, we will do this crust here. So after that, first armhole, we will use half double crochets here. First half double crochet is there, half double crochet, pull through 3 loops, and then we will use the poles, the front ones. I'll show you. We will do half double crochets here and here and here for 12. We do 12 of that. Okay, so 1, 2, yarn over and pull through 3, 3, 4, 5. So I did that so that the stitches will go a bit forward. Okay, and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then for the last double crochet, I'll just do this stitch, the last stitch. Okay, so last half double crochet as per normal, and then we do the other armhole. So far it's looking like this, and later we'll sew this again. Okay, other armhole is 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, starting from the second chain from the hook, let's do slip stitches for a total of 12 stitches. So 2, 3, 4, 12. Then we do a slip stitch here and fasten off. Okay, slip stitch and fasten off, leaving a long, maybe like 10 inches tail, and fasten off. Okay, we'll use this to sew it some more here and then here. Okay, but we'll do that later. So that you see this part, that don't use this part, put the cheese here because the stitch is protruding, so your crust will be, you see, there. And then put cheese here. Oh. Now I'm craving for pizza. Now let's do the cheese. So cheese is the same as the crust from rows 1 to 8, but let's do it together anyway. Let's do it together. Okay, so You don't have to leave a long tail because we'll just use the brown to sew together. So row 1, chain 1, easiest row ever. Okay, and then second row, chain 1 and increase on the first chain. 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Chain 1 and turn, and increase on the first stitch, 1 and 2. And then single crochet here. Okay, and then chain 1 and turn, increase, and then 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please show me some love. I'm a new vlogger, and I intend to make a lot more videos. I actually thought of challenging myself to do a Halloween costume 1 per day, but let's see. I get chain 1 and turn, do increase, single crochet, 1 and 2 in the first stitch, and then 1, 2. Oh, what row is this? I think this is row 5 already. Row 5, 2 single crochets and an increase on the last. So this is row 5, okay? So chain 1 and turn, then increase on the first and last, increase, and 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on the last stitch, do an increase again. So 2 single crochets in the last stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, so for row 7, let's chain 1 and turn first, increase, 1 and 2, and then 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and increase in the last stitch, 1 and 2. Then chain 1 and turn, chain 1 and turn. This is row 8 now. We do half double crochet on the first. Oh, chain again, because we do 2 chains for half double crochet. Half double crochet, then 8 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then a half double crochet on the last half double crochet. Oh, this is the last row already. See, let's see. So for the 8th row, after the half double crochet, we chain 1 and fasten off, and you can leave a bit. Okay, so for the sauce part, let's get our red yarn. We can just join the yarn. I'll use the back loops only for this part. Okay, so using the back loops only. Join the yarn. No need to tie. And then crochet over your end Okay, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 2 half double crochets here in the beginning. Let's make, actually we're gonna do random stitches, double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet for the sauce because she wanted to be a bit wavy. Okay, so 2 half double crochet, then 2 single crochets. So I did an increase in the first, okay, 2 single crochets, and then, oh, excuse me, I sneezed. Next is half double crochet, back loop only, then double crochet, and then half double crochet, and then 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and then half double crochet, so for the last stitch, let's do 2 half double crochet in the back loops, 1 and 2. Okay, let's see. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's chain 1 and fasten off, chain 1 and fasten off, and then later we can use a bit to sew this, or we can simply use the brown yarn to sew it. Okay, so let's now crochet our pepperoni. So for the pepperoni, I'll use the 1.5 mm hook. Okay, and for the yarn, I will use maybe around, let's see, 20 inches, or this might be too long, and I will use 2 strands of yarn. So that's 2 strands. Okay, okay, where's my, okay, let's start off with chain 2, or you can use a magic ring, but it's too small for me. I'll just chain 1, chain 2, and then do 5 single crochets in the first chain. 1, let's do that again. Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then do a slip stitch here, slip stitch, and then chain 1 and cut off, fasten off, and then if it's there, okay, see, it's very small, but oh, this is too long, see, so 12 to 15 inches of the red yarn would have been good enough. Then we just sew this here. I'll show you. Use your darning needle, or you can also just use your hook to slip in and out the yarn, so let's do that. Okay, 1, so if your circle is not perfect, you can adjust it at this time, like extend there and then poke like that. Okay, but this one is kind of good circle, so I'll just do that. And you can sew maybe like over it like 4 to 5 times, and then after sewing, okay, that's my first. I'm just gonna show you one, and then later I'll do the rest. I will do 3 pepperonis, and then okay, so let's see, and then just tie a knot at the back, double knot, triple knot, and you don't have to weave in the ends for this one because it's gonna be hidden. Just tie 2 and 3. I'll do 3 knots, and then just cut. And so I'll do 2 more of this, and then this is like 10 inches of the green yarn for your green pepper. So let's do that here. I want to hide this hole a bit. There's a bit of a hole there, so I'm gonna hide that. Or you can sew it with a yellow part. Okay, see, okay, let's do green bell pepper. Oh, I really want pizza now. 1, 2, and 3. You want 3 or 4 or 5, or you can put any ingredients here that you like. So I'll just put 3. Just, I can tie a knot there later with so now it's mushroom. So for the mushroom, I do a small T. For green pepper, it's just a line. So this is the mushroom. By letter T, I mean like, okay, let's do 1, 2. Okay, let's do it here. 2. No, maybe like this. I want to do it very random. So it's like a letter T for the mushroom. Okay. Make it a small one, and see there. And then it's not so much like a letter T, but it's okay. So I will put the pepperoni here later, so I'll probably put a mushroom here. Okay. And okay. Am I still in the screen? letter T. Okay, that's good. So much. Okay, and then one pepperoni here, one pepperoni here, and then this one's just tie the knot behind here. Okay. Okay, and then you can cut off. This will be hidden, so it's okay. And then I will finish off the pepperoni and see you in a bit. So I've finished making the pepperonis, and here was how it ends up. So now we will attach the top part to the crust, and if you like, you can weave all this in and just use your brown yarn to attach, or you can use any color to attach it. Just first we do this part. Okay, I want to make the armhole, attach the armhole like this. See? Okay, so first we just do this, and then I attach it like here, this part. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Okay. Okay. Oh, I want to do at the tip part there. Okay. And then just keep sewing. That should be good enough. Then I will use this to go over on that side so I can attach. So let's do this, and look for a part here that you can attach that will not show on this side, so that part is good. And then I will just also do the end part like this. Okay, and then okay, that's pretty much attached. So let's go over to the other side, and let's make this neat. Okay, by poking a proper hole, and okay, let's do that. Okay, and then this one here. Okay, and then no, this one. Okay, and then do that. We can use this also to sew the top part. Okay, I'll just do kind of the bottom one, and I want to reach this part so I can sew the other armhole. Okay, So see, it's not showing. Make sure it doesn't show. Okay, this one I'll try and reach that part now. Okay, now it's time to sew this armhole. Can you still see me in the screen? Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Again. Okay, let's see. Okay, that looks good. And this part here. Okay, let's try first before yeah, should be okay. Okay, let's just reinforce this part. And it should be okay. Then I'll just sew this, attach this a bit more in the middle, somewhere in the middle, because I'll use the yellow and red. Okay, let's do this again. Okay. Hey. Right. Just pick a random stitch. Okay. And then I'll just tie a knot and weave it. I mean, fasten off this brown yarn. Okay. Tie a knot. And then you can weave a bit. Okay. And then cut. Got that brown yarn. Right, and then we finish sewing off this part. The same thing. You try to catch a stitch that will not show on the other side. Okay, I'll use this to weave it in here. Feel it again, and then you just sew it here. I want a tight one. Okay, and just cut and hide. Oh, it's hidden already. Okay, so there it is, our pizza Halloween costume for Labubu. And next I will teach you how to make this crown if you want King Labubu or Prince Labubu to go with your pizza costume. The crown is quite simple. So I hope you like this pizza Halloween costume. Thank you all for watching and see you next time. Bye!